1 lakh a month. For so many of us in India, that's the magic number, isn't it? It's not just about the money, it's about what it represents. Stability, a little bit of freedom, and just being able to breathe financially. But how do you actually get there? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down some real, actionable ways you can hit that goal. Let's jump right in.
So, why this number? What's so powerful about 1 lakh? It's really the promise of a better, more secure lifestyle. But getting there isn't about some one-off lottery win. It's about building a system, a real process that can bring in that income month after month. So what does a system like that even look like?
And believe me, this isn't just some quiet personal goal anymore. As Prime Investor points out, you can go to any online forum and you'll see people asking this exact question. So today, we're going to dig into the real answers. Everything from launching your own business to getting your money to do the heavy lifting for you. All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll do a quick reality check on what 1 lakh is actually worth. Then we'll explore 3 main paths: building a business from scratch, using different platforms and gigs, and finally, making your money work for you through investing. And at the end, we'll help you figure out which path makes the most sense for you.
Okay, first up, the 1 lakh dream. Before we jump into the how-to, it is absolutely crucial that we understand the what. We need to really look at this goal and understand its true value in the real world.
So here's the question you've got to ask yourself. Is 1 lakh today going to feel like 1 lakh 10 years from now? The answer is a hard no. There's this silent killer called inflation that's always chipping away at the value of your money. What you can buy with that income today is way different from what you'll be able to buy down the road.
Now check this out, because this is where it gets a little scary. If we assume a pretty standard 6% inflation rate, your 1 lakhs a month, or 12 lakhs a year, is only going to feel like about 6.7 lakhs in 10 years. And in 20 years, whoa, it drops to just 3.74 lakhs. So the big takeaway here is your target can't be a fixed number. You're not just shooting for 1 lakh, you're trying to build an income that grows faster than inflation.
All right, let's talk about our first major path: building your very own business. For anyone who's got that entrepreneurial bug, this is all about creating something from nothing and being your own boss.
One model that has just exploded in popularity, especially with India's e-commerce boom, is dropshipping. Here's how to think about it. You create the online store, you market the products, but you never actually have to buy or store any inventory yourself. When a customer buys something, a third-party supplier ships it directly to them. It's a total game changer if you want to get into e-commerce without a huge upfront investment.
But let's be real, it's not a magic money button. There are definitely trade-offs. On the plus side, the startup costs are super low, you have zero risk of getting stuck with unsold products, and you can pretty much work from anywhere. But the downsides are just as real. Because it's easy to start, the competition is fierce, and that makes online ads really expensive. Plus, you're totally at the mercy of your supplier when it comes to shipping and product quality.
Now here's another idea that I think is hugely underrated: becoming an automation service provider. Just think about all the small local businesses out there, gyms, salons, coaching centers. They waste so much time on boring, repetitive tasks. You could be the person who solves that problem for them. And the path is pretty clear. First, find out what tasks are driving them crazy. Then, learn some of these amazing no-code tools to build automated solutions. You create a few demo projects to show off what you can do, and then you start landing clients. The best part? You can often sell them on a monthly retainer for ongoing support.
Okay, moving on. What if starting a whole business from the ground up feels like a bit much? Well, you can tap into existing platforms and use your skills to make money. This is what we call the platform and gig path.
India's gaming scene is just massive, and it's getting bigger every day. And that's opened up a really cool, kind of surprising opportunity: game testing. Now, this isn't just about kicking back and playing video games. It's a real job where you play games before they're released to find bugs, spot glitches, and give feedback to make the final product better for everyone. You're basically a quality control expert for games.
So can you actually make real money doing this? Absolutely. The trick is to stack different kinds of gigs together. You could use crowd testing platforms for a steady flow of projects and earn up to, say, 40,000 rupees. Then you could land some direct freelance contracts that could bring in another 40,000. Add in a few specialized gigs, and you could be well on your way to that 1 lakh target.
And here's another one that's super accessible, like you could start this today: bank referral programs. Think about it. It costs you nothing to start. All you need is your phone and your network.
Programs like the My First Partner app from IDFC First Bank let you earn money just by referring financial products. It's all done through an app, it's low risk, and it's a really simple way to build an extra income stream.
And now for our third and final pathway, making your money work for you. This is all about generating passive income from investments. Now, unlike the other paths, this one does require a good chunk of money to get started, but the end goal is long-term financial freedom with very little day-to-day effort.
Okay, so how much money do you actually need? Let's not beat around the bush. To get 1 lakh a month after taxes from super safe investments like fixed deposits, you would need a nest egg of around 2.4 crore rupees. Yeah, it's a huge number, and it really shows you how tough it is to rely only on those low-return options.
And this really gets to the heart of the investor's dilemma. On one hand, you've got things like FDs and bonds. They're safe, they won't crash with the stock market, but the income gets taxed heavily, and you risk getting lower rates when you reinvest. On the other hand, you have stocks and mutual funds. They have the potential for awesome inflation-beating returns, but they're volatile. And if you have to sell during a market downturn, you could really hurt your long-term wealth.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's not about picking one side. If you only use debt, inflation will eat you alive. If you only use equities, a bad market crash can wreck your plans. The smart move is to build a balanced portfolio that has both. You need diversification, and you need to use tax-efficient strategies like systematic withdrawal plans to create that steady income you're looking for.
Wow, we have covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From starting a business to gig work to investing. So let's pull all of this together and help you think about which path, or maybe a mix of paths, is the right one for you.
This table pretty much sums it all up. Think about where you fit in. If you have a lot of time and energy but not a lot of cash, and you're okay with some risk, then dropshipping or an automation service could be perfect. If you want something with zero startup cost and very low risk, then game testing or referral programs are fantastic options. And of course, if you've already saved up a significant amount of money, then the investing path can generate that income with much less active effort.
And so that really brings us to the final and honestly the most important question. We've laid out a map with a few different roads that all lead to the same place. Each one has its own challenges and its own rewards. So take a look at your own life, your skills, your resources, your comfort with risk, and ask yourself, which path are you going to build?